morning. Well, it's in the middle of the night for me. This is Loring Danton. We're here with Dogecoin Live. Welcome. And I know my recent videos haven't been that great. You know, I'm not trying to be great. I'm just trying to be, you know, that guy, the Dodge. Oh, I keep on saying Dodge. I don't even know why I do it. It's some kind of rhythm for me. You know, kind of rings off the tongue. It's actually doggy. Okay, so it's Doggy Live, Doggy Coin Live. So let's get straight into it. You know, I was gonna just have some live stream stuff going on here, but I think I'm gonna go through some news, a little bit of news, a little bit of information. We're having some problems with Robinhood recently. In the last day, I'm gonna pull my phone over here and open up Robinhood. And I've had my ups and downs this week. We definitely have. Let me see if I can get this squared up here. Let's see, right about there. You know, I've been all the way up to 1,050 and all the way down to 1,068. Let's see here. Let's get that squared up. All right. And let's go ahead and click to see if it's still okay. Yeah, as you can see, it's untradeable. This happened yesterday on the 27th, during I think it was during about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. I'm not sure. Anyway, it happened again at 12 a.m. We're watching. Let's put it on. Let's see. So I can get. There's live. Okay, let's go over a couple things. Here's my little triangle I made here. My amateur way of doing things. Looks like we're steadily going into my triangle. Staying above it a little bit. Alright, so wondering what's going to happen with Dogecoin. There's a crypto lullaby song that's been put up.
Blockchain will be there at sunrise, so close your eyes, go to sleep, good night. Deep breaths, relax and let your mind rest to this crypto lullaby. Investments don't come cheap, though none are safer than sleep. And when the whales of blockchain attack, you'll need all your energy. The ICO launch is later. Beware, you will get haters. No need to worry, for crypto shall be our great savior. Investments don't come cheap, though none are safer than sleep. And when the wolves of blockchain attack, you'll need all your energy.
So make sure you get some sleep. Don't let this blockchain thing cause you to stay up at night. Okay. So I really think that Dogecoin, is going to take off. Our volume's down a bit, and I think it's because of a lot of scenarios here. It fluctuates. Today's highs in volume I've seen were about 14 million, and as you can see, the market cap and that fluctuates, is running about 400 million, and the circulating supply, which I don't believe is owned, of course, is 115 billion. Now, as we go through news, I haven't seen much news basically on the 25th, the Indodex exchange started listing Dogecoin as a tradable asset. So you could trade it for Bitcoin and whatever you wanted to. Didn't see where you could buy it with rupees. So we'll see how that goes. Don't see no upcoming events. Do think that August, I personally, I think August is going to be a crazy month for crypto. It's going to tell the future, per se, of what's going to occur. August has notoriously been one of them months where we have a little lull. So last year we had this little dip, and all cryptos went through this, and then we kind of had a little exciting point near September, at the beginning of September, and then we had this hard crash for Doggy. Now I definitely do not think that we're going to crash down here. That's what I told y'all before. I don't think we're going to crash down here during September. August, I think we're going to flatline for a little while, but technically, I think we're going to rise. I think we're going to slowly rise. Robinhood has been having problems with, unfortunately, they've been having problems with their vendors. That they're not actually an exchange for crypto. They're so new that they haven't been listed as an exchange, because they're not. You're actually just purchasing. You're not exchanging nothing. Coinbase and FX, people like that. Them are the ones that are actually exchanges. Robinhood is just flat out. You can buy some crypto and sell it. Which I that's all I want. I don't want anything special. But as you can see on my triangle here, I expect us to have a rise and then a fall, but we're gonna stay within this range. We're not gonna go too far up past 0.0042 for a while until we start getting some more support. Once the more U.S. states get added into Robinhood, Robinhood's big. It's bigger than you think. It's growing faster than you think. It might eclipse other exchanges. Even though it's not listed as an exchange, it's growing rapidly, because it not only has stock trades, it has some cryptos, and they're going to add more. And soon, they're going to add more states. I don't know when, but I do believe it's going to be before Christmas. They're going to add more states before Christmas. I guarantee it. I guarantee you it's going to happen during September or the end of August, somewhere in there. We're going to see some more states added, possibly all the way to October. That will continue. They want to get into this. They know it's going to be big, and they want to get into that before Christmas. I'm almost guaranteeing that. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and show this. I thought it was interesting. 3 Dogecoin facts that will make you buy Dogecoin today. And I'm not going to read this to you. I will let it hover. You can pause the video and read this. I'm going to just pretty much say that the titles here. Doggy value proposed proposition. Well, I can't talk today. Proposition for mass adoption. Okay. You got Dogecoin has not been discovered completely yet. We're getting ready to go big. There's been some recent updates too, so I'm not going to read this. I'm just gonna, I'll let it sit here for a second. You can pause the video and read it real quick. right, we're gonna get to the entertainment here because this is all I'm doing. I'm just bringing this up so y'all have something to do while you're watching this ticker. Playing around. Maybe you're watching some videos while you got your computer on. I do that quite a bit. I'll go ahead and get this going.
Also, a little bit of provisioning passing through, so that's a boost to earnings as well. But I think the real question is the performance has been very, very strong this year. Obviously, a lot of people are looking at Saudi for the first time, looking to play this FTSE upgrade story, this MSCI upgrade story. So yes, you've got good earnings from the banks, but also you've got some of these banking stocks up 30, 40, 50% this year. And the question for us is, do you hold on for the upgrades which are coming in 2019, or do you want to take a little bit of money off the table? And I think, for a MENA investor, the question is, if you're taking a bit of money off the table, where do you put?
Huh. Well, of course, I get these lulls in my internet, my speed. This is live. You can go to Bloomberg Live if you want to see stuff like this.
Sacrificing liquidity when it could be needed for yield pickup.
No, they're absolutely doing that. They're searching for that yield.
Yeah. That's okay, because, I don't need no Bloomberg. I don't quite trust them. We're going to go ahead and close that out. I'm live. It's healthy. Everything's good. All right, let's close out this. I don't want to have too many windows open. Let's see here. Let's go through the news a little bit more. 21 minutes ago, IOTA price analysis. Resistances galore in this rally up. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a dip today, and then it went right back up. Boom. So I'm not going to add Bitcoin to our perfect map of doggy. Let's look. Is this still untradeable? Yes. What a drag, and it's going down. Let's see here. I sit here and watch that. Now, as for how I'm doing, okay, so basically, I'm for the week, I'm up $7. Well, that's kind of lame. Now, yesterday I was actually up a lot more. Let's see if I can get 1 month. 1 month I'm up $338. 3 months, I'm right around $279. 1 day, $4.75. Live right now, I'm down. So technically, I'm actually down more than that. I'm down like $40-some because of the dip we had, and my placement with Doggy here. I bought in at 0.0036, so I'm actually down more than this shows. I did buy some more last week. I think it was like $50. And, I'm just hanging out. I do have a sell set up for 0.005, just in case. Because I do want to make profits in the short term and then reinvest and repeat that over and over. Now, I'm going to tell you not to listen to my advice. I'm an amateur here. I've been doing this for not quite a year, off and on different accounts, just playing with it and learning the ropes. At this point, I don't got it down to a T, but like I said, I'm a risky person. Do not follow me and do what I'm doing. It's dangerous. You might lose your money, and I pretty much have room to float. I'm kind of safe. It doesn't matter if I lose all $1,000. I know this, and I have other accounts This one is my favorite. I do like Robinhood a lot. I think they're going to be big, and I'm going to continue to support them. I know they're going through some little problems here and there, but it doesn't bother me in the least. These startup companies do have problems in the beginning, but they have so much support. People like them so much. They're offering trade options. You can't get a better app that I've seen. There's many apps. I mean, there's so many apps. It's you know, the crypto and the trade and all this stuff and the phones. It's getting really big. It's going to continue to get big. Just this year alone, there's been hundreds and hundreds of apps added for crypto trading and stuff like that. So it's big. So there is no question that crypto is big. We know this, and it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger throughout the next 10 years. I don't know what's going to happen past that. You know, laws ensue, tax regulations. You know, people fight this whole decentralized crypto system. Me for one, you know, I'm all in. I'm gonna support whatever coin that I want, whatever I want, and you can make some money doing it. Now, some people make more money than others. And of course, they don't post live what they're doing, which kind of sucks. You know, I wish they would. So we're looking for the next week. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. This is all big speculative guesses and stuff. So let's go on the notion that in August we're not going to have a big falling out. I don't think we're going to have that dip. I guarantee you, I don't think it's going to go under in this red zone here. It's not going to happen. Doggy has officially broken out of that cycle, and I think they're going to stay out of that cycle. I really do. There's been some really close calls in the last couple of days where I've seen it dip down way lower than I thought it would go, but it bounced right back up. On Robinhood, for instance, because of the way they got their system set up, when maintenance occurs or when it goes down, you know, we have these big fluctuations. And let's say everybody stopped trading on Robinhood, took all their cash out, it would cause Doggy to have a really big fall. It would. There's a lot more money going through Robinhood than you think. When you're watching your Robinhood app, you don't see all the trades going on, all the buys. You don't see all the sales. And I've seen some crazy sell-offs of $30,000, $40,000 in Doggy coin, not to mention Bitcoin. I've seen some crazy stuff happen. So it's big, you know. All the traders, and when they're bored, they'll get over on the cryptocurrency. They're probably buying a little bit here and there, getting into it slowly. Looks like we got a rise, up, down. That's how it goes, and it's staying steady. To tell you the truth, we're not getting enough of a spread for me to justify big money making here, but people are doing it. They're taking people with $2, $3, $4 grand into Doggy on Robinhood are taking advantage of these spreads of 0.000, 2, and 3. Now, 2%, 4%, I don't think it's worth it. But the more money that you have in Doggy coin, the more money the lesser the spread has to be to quantify or justify making your sales and then rebuying in low. So if you have $1,000 or less in, like I do, it makes a spread of 4% or 0.0004 needed. You want to see that spread, like if you buy in at 0.0033, you don't want to sell again until at least 0.0038 or more, because you want to see like a 50 or 70, even $150 change. Now, if you bought in, let's say 6% change. Now, I know I'm giving these percentages out, but actually I'm going to go ahead and say 3 zeros and like 6. That spread will give you a big chunk of money. But we haven't been seeing that spread. We only saw it once. We didn't even see that much. The spread I sold at the first time was 0.0033, and some people were actually lucky and were even lower than that, and it went all the way up to 0.0045, and I sold then. I actually got lucky and popped in a sell at 0.004525, made $300 and some dollars. It was crazy, and I only put in $780. So hopefully some of y'all guys can get in on that. If you're putting in over $1,000, you know, you want to make sure that you're actually getting a good sell in to make $50, $60, so you can rebuy in and make more coin. That's the trick. You want to gain coinage. You don't want to lose coinage on any deal, because then you're losing money as well. So you focus on how many coins you got, how many coins you're going to make, the losses that incur from the markups when you buy the crypto in question. Now, like I said, I'm an amateur, so if you're a professional trader in crypto, or you know a lot more about crypto, you know, you might not want to hang out. But hey, I'm just doing this for fun. And trying to get my channel back to 10,000 views so I can monetize my account. Now, of course, I won't be getting any money hardly, if at all. I probably won't get any. You know, you get 30 views on a video, you're not going to get nothing. And nowadays, it's really hard to get big on YouTube, which I understand. So I'm just doing this for fun and a little bit of relaxation while I'm watching the tickers. And it actually isn't very relaxing. This takes a little bit of work and exercise, and you have to have a little bit of mental stability. You got to keep your head on your shoulders. Can't mispronounce words, or you know, not being able to figure out what proposition, how you say proposition. And like I said, it's in the middle of the night. I only got a couple hours sleep. Woke up, decided to do this because my internet speed at night's a little bit faster. So right now it says we're ranked 35, but in all actuality, since the volumes fluctuate, we're actually down a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. We're actually down a lot because and I don't know what's causing it, but like I said, we were at 14 million in volume. Now we're down to 5 million, and that was recent. Let's look at trade volumes. We'll look at trade volume currencies. All right, so the top one right now, beating Bitcoin. Unbelievable, beating Bitcoin. Tether is beating Bitcoin in volume. What? Yes, $6 billion. I don't even know what to think about that. Okay, so let's go down. So we're looking at Bitcoin at 5 billion total volume. Insane amounts of volume. Now, like I said, Robinhood isn't listed as an exchange, so you're not going to see. You can look all you want, but you're not going to find them on any listing for an exchange, because that's not what they are. Not yet. They're trying to work on that. They're making addresses for wallets as we speak. As soon as they start controlling their vendor trades, which keeps bringing them down. Let's check that real quick. Really like to have Dodge chat my doggies all in one show here, and it looks like we're still down. And all of them are down. It's not just doggy. They're all down. So okay, so number 3 is Ether here, ETH. Then we got EOS, and it continues. Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. Litecoin is at 434 million. Now this is the problem. In volume, Dogecoin is all the way down to, let me see if I can find it before I say it. This is a fluctuating source. This changes. Dogecoin has went down because of the volume. Now this is specifically for volume. To, there it is, 106th at 5 million right now. Now that fluctuates. Like I said, this is the 24-hour volume, but actually it was more than that. Earlier today it was at 14. I saw it hit 14. So the Indo DAX that just added, an exchange exchange over in Indonesia. Okay. They and I probably pronounced that wrong. Forgive me. They trade Dodge now. They've accepted Dodge as Doggy, excuse me, as acceptable trade transfer use for Bitcoin and all them. And the 24-hour volume is 96,000. So unless we see some buy-ins, that's gonna cause some issue. BitZ, the Dodge Doggy Bitcoin trade market hit almost 1 million. And I don't like seeing this because I want to see people buying it and holding it. And it looks like we had $1 million here, USDT, which is pretty good. FEX, I've seen some crazy stuff on FEX. Let's see. Yeah, look at this right here. Coin Exchange. Big up to Doggy. Look at that price. 49.004934. Interesting. So it's still ranked 35th. I think that's going to go up. We're going to check an announcement here. Okay. Okay, after 1.5 years, it looks like 100 billion Doggy is in circulation. Now that doesn't mean it's owned. That just means it's in the system. Like you can mine it, you can find it, you can buy it, you can trade it. That's my perception of it. I like how they dumb it down, to try to make it like, hey, it's the dog talking. Okay, dogs are pretty smart. Just because it's called Doggy, there's no reason to diss it because it's called Dogecoin. Pretty cute name. Hey, it'll bring in the women. Women like dogs. I'm glad they didn't call it Catty Coin. Okay, so. Okay, I'm not, basically right here, it's, this website accepts Doggy. GitHub, you can get certain updates here. Interesting. I don't know if this is a fix for the Linux wallet. Let's see. Yeah, this is the forums here. I don't know why people were talking like that. Okay, well, there's a if you go to Google and you type in right here in your search bar, you type in Dogecoin Amazon. There's a petition you can sign. I have signed it. There's not that many people there. They've already said no, more than likely. But people are trying to get Amazon to back Dogecoin. So that would be nice. So go there and sign up, sign the petition. Nothing wrong with signing a petition every now and then. Something you're backing up. And let's see, we're gonna go back and see if we can't get this going again. And I will let this thing fly while I'm gonna watch some
that's a 95% hedge, so there's no reason
I'm gonna watch some Star Trek in the background.
For them to necessarily lay down rigs, but the capital decisions in shale so short.
As well as Resolute. Watch that well density in the Permian. The valuation implies some optimistic scenario there. And Fernando is taking a look at the pivot from production growth to return and some more delineation in the Permian to development. It's going to be about costs, not on that improving efficiency. All right, guys, thanks so much. It was great to talk to you, Tom Larry of Flow and Fernando Valle of Bloomberg Intelligence. And coming up, it's getting hot in here. Temperatures are so high in Texas, you shouldn't even take your dog for a walk. And the cotton crop is crumbling. And as we head to break, it's the big commodity moves of the week. You get that heat wave all across the globe and that boosting wheat prices up at 7%. This is Bloomberg Commodities Edge. This is where we delve deep into those market trends. First up, you're taking a look at the oil inventory numbers for this week. So stocks hitting their lowest level since February of 2015, but a big chunk of that draw actually came in Pad 5 on the West Coast. Plus, you got exports really hitting a record all across the U.S. The other big story in commodities, how hot it is all over the world. And for that, you want to check out power prices in Southern California, they hit a 10-month high of $467 a megawatt hour. Consumers also getting hit with lots of rules in Southern California, like your air conditioners now have to be set at just 78 degrees. And talking about hot, you cannot escape Texas. You can't even walk your dog in Texas because they could actually burn their paws. It is close to about half of its cotton crop is also in poor condition, helping to boost the cotton prices over the last couple weeks. All right, now let's dig deeper into crops. President Trump calling a ceasefire on its trade battle with the EU. The solution, buy more soybeans.
We will also work to reduce barriers and increase trade in services, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, medical products, as well as soybeans.
Joining me now is Alan Bierga of Bloomberg News. Can the EU buy enough soybeans to help the U.S.?
Well, of course they can buy enough to help the U.S., and frankly, they are going to anyway. When you take a look at the price premium between Brazilian and U.S. soybeans, it would only make sense that the European Union would be turning more to the U.S. because there's more U.S. soybeans on hand with China not buying. But it's not going to be enough to make up for the loss of China. Even though the EU is the second largest buyer of U.S. soybeans, it's a factor of about 1/9 the Chinese market. The scale is just not there.
Well, fair enough. And in order to recompense soybean farmers, we did also see President Trump unveiling an aid for farmers, the Deus Ex Machina, $12 billion in aid. Is that going to be enough for farmers? Is that what they want?
Well, it's not what farmers want. I mean, most farmers will tell you they would rather sell on the free market than gain some sort of government assistance, but it will go a long ways to make up at least some of the short-term trade loss. There are calculations as far as what the economic loss would be. This package very much hits it, but what it doesn't deal with is the longer-term loss of markets and damage with trade relationships that isn't accounted for in a government ledger.
And it comes at a really bad time, Alan, because we have a great chart here that shows that the agricultural index value and the income of farmers in dollars, basically they could lose about $33 billion next year, according to the USDA. What's the macro backdrop for farmers?
Well, farmers have been dealing with a crop glut situation for several years. From the record numbers of 2013, you've seen farm income drop by half. We have a farm bill coming up. That's a big part of the policy discussion here in Washington. And, of course, this trade war does not help those numbers.
And you mentioned that the EU can't help make up for the loss of China. What actual loss are we seeing? I read that there's some ships that are kind of sitting over in China that are filled with soybeans that the China's not taking in. What's the longer-term effect?
Yeah, you do have these ships sitting off port, and remember, with these promises of greater EU buys, there were a few months ago promises of greater Chinese buys. This is a very volatile trade situation. Until we see those ships turn around, get out of China, and head toward Amsterdam, we have to watch and make sure that this market move really happens.
Do prices have enough support, though, here?
They are now up almost to pre-tariff levels if you take a look at today's trading. But again, this is a hole that is not filled by one trade relationship. This is an ongoing search for new markets, and it's not going to be an easy one for the U.S.
Alan, thank you so much. Bloomberg's Alan Bierga joining us from D.C. All right, now let's get into the ring. You got 3 charts, 3 earnings reports you need to know. Danielle Boko of Bloomberg News metals and mining reporter is joining us from Toronto. Let's kick it off with Freeport-McMoRan, copper and gold warning on trade. Break it down for us, Danielle.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because all of the earnings companies right now, as they report, are talking about trade. In the case of Freeport, they said that they haven't seen a direct impact on their copper sales so far from all of the rising protectionism, but they did say that they have a contingency plan in place should this trigger a global recession, which seems to be really the big fear that people are focusing on. Tech today said that they see this as a threat to global growth. You know, obviously, that Alcoa has warned about the tariffs impacts. And then last night, Cameco actually said they're going to have to shutter their major flagship uranium mine in Canada because the climate right now for uranium is so bad, and that comes as Trump is threatening to, you know, advance the tariffs on uranium as well. So in that case, they may be able to ramp up production in the U.S. It could actually end up supporting prices. But I think the point is what we're seeing in all of the earnings is that the CEOs are really focused on what the impact of the trade tariffs are going to be.
And interestingly enough, that was the focus of many calls for the metals, but not when it comes to Anglo-American. Even with that macro uncertainty, it's actually spending a really good chunk of cash.
Yeah, $5 billion is a good chunk of cash, all right. And it's interesting because, you know, to draw the comparison with Freeport, again, they made it really clear in their call, there is no way that they are going to pull the trigger on any sort of big projects right now in this economic environment. But you're right. Anglo's going ahead. I guess the key question will be how they time all of that spending with the economic cycle, because that's always the problem for mining companies, right? It takes so many years to build a mine. You don't want to do it when inflation is creeping in. You don't want to do it if the global economy is on the verge of a recession. Obviously, they think that this is long-term the right thing to do. There's a lot of talk about a supply deficit for copper. EV demand is feeding that. So, you know, they may end up looking brilliant, but we'll see how they time it.
And talking about pipelines, Barrick Gold dealing with that. It's depleting pipelines. Is it reflected in earnings in this rough quarter?
Yeah, it's been a rough quarter for all the gold miners. Yes, Barrick did see lower production. They also saw rising costs, but that was a pretty broad trend across the industry. We also saw a bunch of misses. Goldcorp, Barrick, Agnico Eagle all missed on adjusted earnings. Same issue, really. So they have been reining in debt because of all the excesses in past years. The concern is whether or not they can actually start to spend now to replenish those depleting pipelines, and whether or not this is the economic climate in which to do that.
Absolutely, especially with the Fed raising rates. All right, Bloomberg's Danielle Bokov, thank you very much for joining me. Well, coming up, President Trump also wants the EU to buy U.S. LNG, but does Europe actually want our natural gas? We discuss next on Bloomberg Commodities Edge.
And on a side note, it looks like I've seen some news where Facebook has been looking to buy Coinbase. Of course, they just lost billions, so I doubt that's going to occur now. Just bringing that up. You know, the whole Facebook thing where they crashed, that's crazy what happened. I guess they shouldn't have been blocking all that. You know, I knew something like this was going to happen because they were blocking, like, Americans, you know, posting on Facebook, you know, about, you know, that were pro-Trump, stuff like that. So that was kind of weird, you know. So I kind of saw, I didn't know, I knew I didn't want to touch Facebook, especially since February, because in February when they had that first drop, because they were doing all this crazy stuff, these stunts, I don't know. It seems like when you got a company like that, I don't know why they keep on trying so hard to screw it up. Oh, yes. Interesting. Smartphones are the safest devices to store cryptocurrency, Samsung says. I guess because they got the face recognition on the Apple phones and you got the finger ID. I mean, you got to have the phone to get on the wallet. I mean, if you don't have the phone, you can't get on the wallet.
This is Bloomberg Commodities Edge. It's time now for the BNEF Brief, what you need to know in the world of alternative energy. President Trump wants the EU to buy more U.S. LNG, but can they? Well, joining me now is Anna Dialis from Bloomberg NEF. So what's interesting is that President Trump wants to sell more to the EU, but in fact, if you look at cargoes, that number has been falling over the last year. Why is that?
Europe is sort of a wild card as far as LNG is concerned. The volumes that they import really fluctuate based on how much they need. So how much domestic production they have, how much renewable production they have, and how the price of gas competes with the price of coal at any given time.
And also how it competes with Russian LNG. I mean, they basically get the majority of their gas from Russia anyway. So what would it take for Russian gas to become less competitive for them?
So Russian gas is quite competitive. It's always cheaper to import gas via pipeline because it takes so much energy to liquefy gas, ship it in a cold container, and then regasify it. And we do expect Russian exports via pipeline to increase to Europe. So the big question, though, is that Europeans' domestic production is likely going to fall, especially in the next decade or so. So they probably will still need some LNG to supplement their gas intake. So the question is, where does that come from?
And in terms of a U.S. producer, do I want to sell my LNG to Europe, or do I want it to go to China?
So U.S. producers at this point, I think, will take sales to anyone they can sell to. But the main focus is still on Asia, and that's just volumes, right? Asia's going to be growing. The volume of gas that Asia needs is just so much larger than Europe's.
And the other part is, of course, the infrastructure. So we have infrastructure here, issues at home. We need to ramp up our terminals and our pipelines. What about in Europe? Do they even have the infrastructure to take our liquefied natural gas?
So Europe's actually an interesting case in which they have a lot of capacity. They actually have plenty of capacity to take the amount of LNG that we expect that they will need, even with increased demand. And that's because they only currently use about a quarter of the infrastructure that they have for physical deliveries. They have a lot of contracts for additional volumes, so some of that capacity is actually utilized as an option and for flexibility. But they have the capacity installed that they could import more LNG.
Is it regionally different?
It does vary by regions. The main countries that tend to import LNG tend to be the ones that have infrastructure installed. And I guess especially for the U.S., the big question would be Turkey, because Turkey is a big player in Europe's gas market, and Turkey and U.S. relations are sometimes questionable.
Such a diplomatic way of saying that, Anna. Thank you so much. Anna Dialynis of Bloomberg NEF. All right, now let's turn to Commodity in Chief, where we focus on one executive in the commodity world. Today, it's Steve Hamburg, Chief Scientist for the Environmental Defense Fund. First, a closer look at the issues. It's what environmentalists hate: methane. It's colorless, odorless, and the main component of natural gas. If methane leaks into the air before it's used, it can absorb the sun's heat and warm the atmosphere, and it's over 80 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Here's what happens. Unburned gas can seep out of the wellhead through loose valves, at separators, at compressor stations, tanks, pipelines, all the way down to your local distribution line and leading right into your house. In a new report, the Environmental Defense Fund says over the past 5 years, 13 million metric tons of methane have escaped, 60% higher than EPA estimates. That's enough gas to fuel 10 million homes a year, or like losing a check for $2 billion. Why it matters. Natural gas is hailed as a better fuel, but if methane emissions are higher than we think, it eats away at the benefit of producing this cleaner energy. I recently caught up with Steve Hamburg at the World Gas Conference.
You're looking for something that happens infrequently, and it happens in an unpredictable way. So if you just go out and measure a group of sites, you won't see it. And accordingly, you estimate the emissions are much lower than what in fact you see in the field.
Are the breakdowns in, say, transportation? Is it production? Is it storage? Where do you see the slippage?
Well, it's going to be a diversity of places, but the bulk of it is on the production side of it, but it can also be from the tanks is the location on the production side. But the tanks are where the emissions are emitting from, but they're not necessarily the source of it. Something could be upstream of it, but it's, of course, being released to the tank where you've got pressure relief. About a third of the sites have very little emissions coming from them. So we know the technology works. We know it can be done. We just got to make sure that we understand why it isn't happening across the supply chain in all sites.
Do you feel like it's that the companies fell through here, or do you feel like it's site-specific, that there's certain areas where this becomes more unpredictable?
It's not geography and it's not companies. So we surveyed 1% of all the wells in the U.S., and and we found it's not exactly the same everywhere, but you find large companies, small companies, you find different geographies and plays. It's occurring everywhere. Maybe not always at the same rate, but these emissions are ubiquitous, and they're across the supply chain. They happen both at production as well as local distribution.
How do you fix it?
You fix it as you understand why things are not working as they should.
How can you fix something you can't see?
Well, first of all, there's lots of great new technology allowing you to measure these emissions, and increasingly cheaper opportunities to monitor in real time so that you can see them sooner, you can fix them sooner, and if you collect good data about it, you can prevent it in the future.
Sounds great. Costs money. So talk about how the companies can offset the cost. You mentioned.
Well, you're saving product. And as I say, all the estimates show that, at least half of the emissions can be prevented at no cost. I personally think it'll be much higher. Once you get better analytics about it, you'll be able to reduce it at lower costs, and you'll be able to make that number much higher.
What has been the response of the report from the industry?
It's sort of been mixed in the sense that, we've gotten criticized by everybody, which I think is we're hitting the target clearly, because right now the effect of those emissions is that the climate impact of using natural gas is double over 20 years that which is just from the CO2. So that's an enormous missed opportunity. It doesn't have to be that. It can be much lower, and it's really about whether or not the industry has the will to reduce it. The technology exists, the economics are positive, so it's really about, do the companies have the focus to do it? And I don't know. That's the challenge we face.
That was Steve Hamburg from EDF, who's also in the middle of carrying out studies globally looking for 45% reduction in methane emissions in oil and gas producers by 2025. All right, here's what's on my commodity radar. A busy week kicking it off. You got Caterpillar earnings reporting on Monday. It's going to be the read-through from trade and global growth. Tuesday, you get Glencore out with its first half production report. Also want to see any kind of hedging or trading that worked well for them. And Wednesday, the U.S. E&P names start to report earnings. I'm taking a look at Anadarko, Apache, and Occidental. Are they seeing some kind of good well results and any end in sight for that blowout differential from the Midland to the Houston price? That does it for Bloomberg Commodities Edge. Make sure to catch us each Thursday at 1 p.m. New York time, 6 p.m. in London. This is Bloomberg.
Bloomberg Business Week. I'm Carol Masser.
And I'm Jason Kelly. We're joining you here from Bloomberg headquarters in New York.
In this week's issue, it's a special issue. It's about the new space race.
And so much going on way up there. We're talking about tiny rockets. We're talking about drug therapies happening at the International Space Station.
We're also talking about space-age balloon rides and comet mining.
It all, though, comes back to money. We've got billionaires pouring money into this Space Race 2.0.
Right. It is an economic story, and that brings us to what we heard from Max Chafkin, our reporter who took us to SpaceX.
He took us to SpaceX, but not where you would think. Not to Elon Musk, but to the woman behind him who's really making it all happen. Here's Max.
So Gwen Shotwell is the COO and president of SpaceX. She's also kind of been probably one of the people closest to Elon Musk over the last, 15 years or so. And the person, besides Musk, who's probably most responsible for turning this thing into something more than just a sort of wild set of dreams to colonize Mars.
And where'd she come from? What's her
she is, as we say in the story, she's from the Midwest. She grew up north of Chicago. She started at Chrysler and then moved to into the aerospace industry. And Musk found her in 2002. Like I said, when there wasn't a whole lot there. It was like, we're going to make cheap rockets, and we're going to use those cheap rockets to make spaceflight cheaper, and then we're going to eventually get to Mars. And Gwen Shotwell basically said, okay, well, we're going to have to sell some of these rockets, and she had to do this amazing thing, which was convince NASA and some of the private telecom companies, which buy satellites and send them into space, to trust a rocket company that had never launched a rocket.
That's what's amazing. She did it. She got the meetings with the people that mattered.
Yeah.
How did she do that?
We my co-writer Dana Hull and I talked to her about this, and what she said is that you try to sell, you're sort of trying to sell the team, right? So it's like there's this great guy Elon Musk. He's very smart, and you're also trying to, I think probably more importantly, you're using sort of small steps to make the case that you're going to be able to do something larger. So they were very transparent about basically their progress when they had test firing the engines, even when they had fit.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to watch that. We're gonna have to watch that in the next 10 years or so. We'll have to, once they start mining asteroids, I'm gonna be an old man by then. Okay, let's have a little fun here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to watch One Piece again this week. I tried to last week, failed. I didn't ever watch it, so let me see here. The easiest do it this way. Let's see. I apologize for my long list here. I hope you don't see anything that's messy. I don't know what I got on here. This is like, I probably got some junk on here. Alright, let's go here to One Piece. Close down Bloomberg. I'm done with you. We're going to go to episode 45. 8:45. And yeah, as you can see, I got the Earthquake 3D map. And I am a watcher of earthquakes. Guaranteed that we've been having some problems over in Hawaii. You probably kept up with it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you don't know about it. Basically, there's for the last several. It's been months now. The earthquakes and the lava and all that stuff's going on. Once that stops, just like back in 2011. Once that stops, we might have a buildup of pressure that releases over in Japan again. And you remember that big earthquake, the Fukushima incident, still ongoing. That Fukushima reactor is still spewing out dangerous amounts of radiation. It will continue for the rest of our lives. And it will poison the Pacific for the rest of our lives. So if you're buying salmon, make sure it's Atlantic salmon. Okay, enough of the bad news. Let's, I didn't mean to bring that up. Hopefully I'm wrong on that, but I'm not. Anyway, let's go to this. Most people won't point that out. Can't blame them. you know, pray for them, pray for Japan. You know, that is a special culture over there. Love it. Love that culture. I mean, I love the people, you know, and you know, there's all kinds of ethnic problems throughout the United States as well as other countries. So it's not about that. It's just about, you know, Japan's awesome. You know, we wouldn't have a lot of stuff if it wasn't for the Japanese people. All right. Let's turn off the earthquake map. Let's make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to have to move it over. Copyright, got to do that, so... Alright guys, can't watch no more copyright, so go to Anime Freak TV, Anime Freak TV, and watch One Piece and thousands of other great shows and movies. They even have English stuff. I mean, they got dubbed. I mean, it's crazy. Good stuff. Alright guys, it looks like I'm going to end it here. As you can see where I stand. Now I have, yesterday I was right around, you know, I hit up to 1,120. A couple days ago I was at 1,150, and that could fluctuate. If it goes up to 0.005, I'll probably net right around 500 bucks. It'll gain up 500 bucks. So that's what I'm shooting for right now at this point, because I am unsure. I was selling at 0.0048, and I was before that at 4.5. I feel like something, and the problem is when you're doing this sort of thing, when you're trading, do not use feelings. I feel like this, or I feel like that. Definitely take your time, do research. look at numbers, volumes, and I'm talking about stocks here. I'm not even talking about, look at the news, keep up with past news. Make sure you keep notes. Maybe that will help. See, some people don't have enough money to make their portfolio crazy looking. Like, you have to have a couple of thousand to invest in to start out, and that's tough to do, especially for, let's say you make minimum wage. So the fastest way to make money, in my opinion, for the small investor is all in. So you're playing a game. So you could do 20, 40, and then 60, right? Or 20, 30, and then 50 on your portfolio. Mix it up like that. With crypto, you could sell 20%, then 40%. Go up the ladder and then go all in and then start over. That might be a safe way to do it. As you see it, like let's say you see it go up, and you want to go ahead and sell some that you bought at a certain amount, like 20% of your portfolio, if you're all in on one crypto, and keep it moving. That's one way. My way takes a lot longer. There's a chance for bigger gains, but not in the short term, and probably not over time too, if you want to get really technical. I was shooting for an in-between. I wanted to play the dip on this, and it hasn't been dipping quite enough for the last 2 weeks, ever since that one jump from its nomad zone. So, this is all pure opinion. Everything I say is opinion, but there's many different ways to trade and do things. You just got to figure it out for yourself. I, for one, want another PC. I got things I want, but my main focus right now is paying off my mortgage. I'm all in on doing that. And apparently I'm not completely all in. I'm paying bills. You got to live. I'm playing on the crypto market here. So I'm kind of trying to balance it out, but I'm really going all in on my mortgage. Trying to make on the side $50,000 in 3 years. Started in May, and I pretty much was at a standstill right off the bat, right when I started crypto, and had to wait all the way into June. And this was early May. This was like February. It was. I started doing research. Got my. I wanted to do app trading. Like, I wanted to have a phone and make money off that phone. That was my whole goal. And I bought this on the top left. You see that in numbers. That is the iPhone SE, an older model. They run about $300 or so. You can find a good deal. I got the big 128 gig version, and I love it. And you can get them for even cheaper than that if you get the smaller gigabyte versions. So basically, I'm going to make $50,000 in 3 years playing with crypto and stocks. Now, I'm going to be all around. See, I might be on Bitcoin, I might be on Doggy. This is Doggy Live, but it might turn into something else. So I'm just doing this once a week or so, maybe 2 times a week on the weekends, weekend warrior here, and see if I can get to $50,000. Now, I have other accounts too. I have Coinbase, and I'm messing around with Steam. Now, if you don't know what Steam is, Steemit.com, STEEM. We'll go ahead and go to my account, check it out. Here's me on Steemit. I want you to join me here. It's free to sign up. You got to go through some steps. You got some long passwords. You have to know how to use your notebook or whatnot, or write down your keys. You have an address. You can make money as you blog. Now, you can see I'm not making much money here, but I'm telling you what, there's guys on here making a lot of money. And I have to go way back because I took a break, but I'm making some pennies here, pennies there, but it's add up. I've actually sold some of my Steam, bought some Ether with it on Coinbase. I mean, I transferred my Steam that I traded to Coinbase. So I traded it, and then I sent it to Coinbase for Ethereum that I bought with my Steam, and then I can turn that into cold hard cash. So go to steemit.com. They got this thing down. It's worth about $1.50 at this point, and it's went up almost to $4 before. I think it's going to rise again, but it still hasn't hit mainstream yet, I don't think. And as you can see, these guys making 17 bucks on this one blog that was put on 22 hours ago, and it's if you go to let's see, that's my feed. So if you go to trending or hot, let's see. Yeah, 96 bucks, $916. That's US dollars. That's USD. That ain't Steam. That's actual. It's prompted in dollars. So you can go here, and once you sign up, you actually get power to give these people money out of thin air. The way this stuff works is basically you have a certain amount that you can spend a week. It's controlled, and you go to where you think people. You watch blogs and stuff that you think are worthwhile. It's just like YouTube. And when you click on the bottom of their posts, and you can even make money chatting with someone. This is how it works. Like I can upvote right here. Let's go to the video since I'm using it in my video. And you can even post. I mean, it's crazy once you learn how to use this, because even in the chat windows, you can post videos, GIFs, stuff like that. And you can see where this person got, and that's what this is. This is a little video GIF that repeats itself. And I can upvote this and give them money. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Pending payouts 13, and it takes 7 days for your payout to occur. This person's made $916 on this with 534 votes. You can also share it with people. And since I'll go ahead and click on that, it was 916.57. I just clicked on it and gave them 2 cents. All right, so yeah, come check this out. Pretty awesome. I got blogs going all the way back to. I probably can't even load them up. It's been over a year now, so. And I got a lot of cool stuff on here that you won't see on YouTube. Like, for instance, this Hawaiian earthquake system. This volcano, this old volcano, it's collapsing. It's actually gotten really big. It's huge now. This is an old video. So come by and say hi. I probably don't post much up here anymore, but you can go make money for yourself. I am continuing this, but right now my PC's down. I'm doing this for fun. My other PC's broke. But I guess I'm gonna have to end it here. It looks like I don't think Robinhood's gonna come back up I mean, it's been a while, so we didn't get to see the chat, the crazy chat group. Wow. All right, well, I'm gonna leave from here. I had my fun. It's in the middle of the night and all, so have a nice morning and make sure you get some sleep. Peace out.